Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest's #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks. Welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Well, Big Voice told you there's 4 places to go, and he is correct. There are 4 different places that you can go to have your computer looked at when it's not working right, to get help over the Schrock desk when you can't get that printer installed, or you think you might have a virus infection. Or yesterday, my uncle called me and he says, "Hey, Thor, I hit something accidentally on my keyboard and my screen went full screen. Like I can't get out of it. Like, you know." And he's describing it, and the whole time I'm thinking, just press F11, you know. But we're gonna let him go through the description, right? And I said, press F11, and he presses F11. And he goes, "Oh, wow, that was great. I must have bumped that." You know, that's the kind of stuff that we do every day at Schrock. Sometimes it's easy as press F11. Sometimes it's Alt F4 to close that noisy pop-up window that's telling you your computer is infected. Blah 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 blah. You know. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's not so easy. Sometimes we have a little more challenging Schrock desks and you know, support scenarios that we put together. We had a guy that bought a computer from us because the last 2 computers he's bought were obviously pieces of garbage, because at his home they kept dying. Like the power supplies kept failing, the hard drives kept failing. So he finally ordered himself a nice, strong, powerful modular computer. And within the first month he owned it, he went through 2 power supplies and 2 hard drives. At this point, we're like, he already bought the surge protector. So we're like, well, we could put him on an APC to condition the power, but he's got to have bad power. And, you know, he's got to have bad power because there's just no way you go through this many components across this many brands, all with power supply failures and hard drive failures, one of the most sensitive components inside the computer. And sure enough, you know, he had an electrician come out, and that was the problem. So, I mean, you know, sometimes we're even like helping people out. One time I had a woman call me because she thought her couch was bugged. Not like the bed bugs kind, but she wanted us to send a technician out to check her couch for listening devices. We didn't go on site to that one. We kind of drew a line, and it's like, that's not really what we do. You know. Oh boy, yeah. Well, you get some interesting people once in a while, but for the most part, it's F11 stuff. It's Alt F4 stuff, and that's what we're here to help you with on the program. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us here on the show. Ask a question, make a comment. We'll put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. All you have to do is give us a call. You don't have to ask a super hard question or anything. You don't have to, you know, blow the world up with your ideas or anything. Every question is important, because if you have it, there's people listening that have the same question. I also want to point out right now that we are broadcasting live at Facebook, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, where you can watch the show live if you like. Also, after the program is concluded, the traditional terrestrial broadcast program is concluded, we do another little show called the After Schrock. This week, you don't want to miss the Aftershock. Last week, there was not an Aftershock. So I feel like I owe you, right? I feel like I need to give you like a double value Aftershock. So we planted an Easter egg on the website at SchrockInnovations.com. It's been there for almost a week. I'm going to tell you where it is during the Aftershock. We're not going to really talk about it and promote it much until May. But for those of you who are dedicated Aftershock listeners, I want to make sure that you have first crack at it. So it's up on the website, SchrockInnovations.com. If you want to hunt for it, you can. Otherwise, I'll tell you where it's at during the Aftershock. All right, so last week, there was no Aftershock, but we did do a live show. So if you missed the show last week, we told you about the maintenance checkup sale that's going on right now at all 4 locations. We are in the final days of that sale right now, guys. You only have a few days left to pick up a maintenance checkup certificate at the discounted price, or to bring your computer in to have a maintenance checkup done on it. This has been an interesting maintenance checkup sale. We're only going to do one this year. Just the way the promotional calendar works out, I don't think we're going to have time. We might, but I wouldn't promise it. Let's put it that way, that we're going to do another one. So number one, we've had a lot of people coming in for a maintenance checkup and getting one done to their computer, and then purchasing a certificate, because the certificates are good for 6 months. Coincidentally, you get maintenance every 6 months on your computer, or at least you're supposed to. So that way, you're basically getting the discount, even though we're not going to run the sale a second time. So that works out. So we've had a lot of people doing that. We've had a lot of people purchasing certificates, but fewer than normal. We've had more people coming in for maintenance. The cost of batteries is up 50%. The cost of DC jacks is up 100%. Screens have gone up 20%. The cost of laptops are up about 10%. Some parts are getting difficult to find, especially high breakage parts like screens and plastics and things like that are getting a little difficult to find. So all in all, if there's something wrong with your computer, it's better to find out about it now than it is 6 months from now, because this issue that we're having is only getting worse as the prices go up and the availability of components go down. So let's put it that way. So it's cheaper to fix your computer today than it is to fix your computer tomorrow. And so we've had a lot of people coming in for maintenance as a result of that, because if there's something wrong with their computer, they want to find out about it now. Like if you have a bad power supply that's failing, but it's not showing symptoms yet, but we can detect it when we hook it up to our tester. If it tells us the voltages are off, then we know your power supply is starting to fail, and we can recommend a replacement before it blows up your motherboard and your hard drive and everything else inside the computer and causes you to have to buy a whole new system. If your hard drive is failing, you might have Drive Advisor on your computer that'll tell you when the smart status changes, when the hard drive realizes it's failing. But solid-state hard drives slow down before that happens. So there's actually a leading indicator to the leading indicator. So we can look at your speed of your solid-state hard drive during a maintenance checkup and say, yeah, that drive is running slower than it's supposed to be running. Therefore, we should replace it before it goes bad and you lose all your data. Good stuff. So the maintenance checkup, that you're supposed to get one every 6 months, and we do try to put them on sale on 6-month intervals to try to encourage you to come in and get this work done. Established Schrock customers that come in every 6 months rarely need much of anything aside from the maintenance checkup itself. We tell you the problems that we fixed in the registry. We tell you about the malware scan results. We do all your Windows updates for you. We make sure your Secure Updater is functioning properly, that your Sophos is working well, that your Drive Advisor is functioning and it's associated to your Schrock ID, so that everything, you're getting the emails about it if something goes wrong. Those are all things that we do during the maintenance checkup. It takes about 8 hours to do. So for $65, 8 hours of work, it's a pretty solid deal. So anyway, if that's something that's interesting to you, it's something that you think you should do or maybe should do sometime in the next 6 months, there are 2 ways you can take advantage of this. And like I said, there's only a few days left here to do it. The sale, it's kind of funny. The sale ends at the end of the month, right? So according to the calendar, as of the broadcast date of this show, which we talk about every week, this show airs live Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. Then it's rebroadcast at various times, and I think the longest tape delay is a week. So right now, as of broadcast time, you have 4 days left to come in and get a maintenance checkup on special. But because there's a week delay, next week we won't talk about the maintenance checkup sale anymore. We'll say it's over. But it'll just kind of linger on the website for a week for those people that didn't hear it. We want to be fair and make sure that, if they hear me say there's a few days left, then there's a few days left. But there's literally a few days left, guys. So if you want to take advantage of it, you can purchase a certificate on our website. Go to SchrockInnovations.com. Just go to shop and then specials, and it'll be right there on the specials page. If you, on the other hand, if it's something you want to just come in and do, we do have open bench spots available. Typically what ends up happening is at the start of a maintenance checkup sale, we get very, very busy. Then in the middle of the maintenance checkup sale, it kind of ebbs off a little bit. We see more certificate sales than people coming in. And then at the end of the maintenance sale, we see very few people coming in and tons of certificates as procrastinators be procrastinating. This sales, like I said, been a little different. We've had a pretty steady flow of people coming in and actually getting maintenance done now and then buying the certificate so that they can get the special price again 6 months from now. We've seen a lot of that going on. So it's just a strategy you might keep in mind if you're trying to maximize your discounts, because, before everybody raised the prices on everything, the first thing they did is they reduced the discounts, because that's the easiest way to raise your prices without actually raising your prices, is you give away fewer coupons, less coupon codes. No more Hobby Lobby 40% off coupon. Notice that? These are people reducing discounts. Then you go to product reduction, right? So then you put 13 fewer Doritos in a bag, or you put 28 fewer Wheat Thins in a box, or perhaps 3 fewer Bounty paper towels on a roll. These are all real things that are happening, by the way. Then you go to price increases after that because, at that point you can't. But I can't give you 6 hours of maintenance checkup for an 8-hour maintenance checkup. I can't give you half a checkup. You got to have the whole thing. So I can't reduce that. I can't raise the price. The price is the price. It's the price. It is the price. And the discount is the same as ever. So the only thing we can do is maybe only run the sale once this year, but I'm even giving you a way around that because we don't like inflation at Schrock. 888-250-2091. So we talked about the maintenance checkup sale last week. Also, we shared a German government report on Kaspersky antivirus. If you didn't know this, Kaspersky is a Russian antivirus company. In their defense, they say, listen, yes, we're Russian-owned, but all of our data processing is in Switzerland. All of our customer information is stored in Switzerland and in Germany and in Canada, and all these Western countries. So, you have nothing to worry about. And, Germany says, well, if an FSB guy walks in and holds a gun to your head and says, access Joe Blow's computer, could you do it? The answer is yes. So, yeah. The German government recommends that you they recommended everyone in Germany, and if you were doing government work, you cannot use Kaspersky. But basically, they recommended everybody drop it. Kaspersky didn't like that. So we covered that story with you there and gave you some alternatives to look at if you are using Kaspersky right now. Kaspersky guys, it's tough because Kaspersky didn't invade the Ukraine. They're just guys running a business, and they do a darn good job of it. They're really good at what they do. Kaspersky, if you're going to buy a consumer-grade antivirus, at Schrock, we sell corporate-grade antivirus to consumers so that you get the benefit of the software that the big boys have. But if you're going to buy little guy software, if you're going to buy consumer-grade software, Kaspersky is great. It is probably the best option in the marketplace. I'd much rather see you on Kaspersky than on Secure IT or on McAfee or Trend Micro or Norton 360, for heaven's sake. I'd love to see you on Kaspersky instead of those. But if you share the view of the German government, we recommend Sophos antivirus. Sophos is what we sell at Schrock. It is corporate-grade antivirus that is supported and backed by Schrock Innovations employees in local service centers. So we don't make the antivirus software. I want to be really clear about that because there was a local shop that said that put up a big hoopla. We make our own antivirus. You guys, we make a lot of our own products at Schrock. But the one thing we don't make? Security software. You know why? The amount of human manpower it takes to stay up to speed on security software is mind-boggling. So who do you trust? Do you trust the guy, if you're going to buy some software, you're going to white box it, put your name on it, and say you made it? Are you going to make your own security software somehow? Are you going to partner up with somebody who's really, really, really the best in the industry at what they do and ride their coattails? And that's exactly what we did at Schrock. Now, we have our own flavor with it. We back all of our Sophos installs with a virus-free guarantee. In the 2.5 years we've been selling Sophos, we have not had a single customer get a free virus removal. We've had people think they might be infected, but it's never an infection. It's always social engineering. People getting tricked. They get an email that says that we're watching what you do through your webcam, and you must send us Bitcoin or we'll tell your friends and family. Well, that isn't true. It's a scam. And so, we get that once a week, so we get the little things, but mostly it's pretty straightforward stuff. So we told you about that story. Also, we warned you about a new type of ransomware that's coming out that has a different way of making you pay the ransom. So if you don't pay with this ransomware, they disable your entire computer. Like they render it inoperable. So not only is your data all deleted and encrypted, deleted, and then the computer is rendered inoperable. So you have to come into either a computer repair service center, or other people might think, because the message tells you your computer is now broken, they might think the computer is now broken and they have to go buy a new computer. So if the ransom amount is less than the cost of a new computer, a lot of people will just pay the ransom because it's cheaper than buying a new computer and you get your data back. What a value, right? So yeah, you guys, there's nothing software can do to a computer that we can't undo to a computer. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where something's telling you your computer is poo-pooed because of something that happened with software, we can clean that mess up. Yes, we can clean that up at Schrock. All right. The last thing that we talked about last week was a little... Microsoft accidentally published a graphic showing a banner ad in the file manager. In other words, Microsoft might be considering the possibility for the second time in 20 years of bringing advertising directly into the Windows operating system so that they can put ads inside your computer to show you on Windows that have nothing to do with the internet. Like I said, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. All right, coming up on the program today, we're going to talk. We talked a little bit about maintenance checkups. I don't want to beat the dead horse on that. You know what it is. If you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. I think we're good there. Chromebooks. Chromebooks are these little cheapo computers that they give the kids at school because they can only do schoolwork on them. Like it runs Google Apps and that's it, right? Convenient. Unless, of course, you get a really nice one and now you can run Steam on it. If you don't know what Steam is the largest video game sales engine on the planet, which means your Chromebooks can play video games now. Parents beware. We're going to talk about that on the program. Also, it is tax refund season, guys. The IRS is, collecting tax returns and cutting checks or taking checks, whatever the case might be. You guys get checks. I cut checks. That's how it works. But it's refund season, and there are scams. And so we're going to tell you what the scams are you need to watch out for in your inbox so you don't fall victim to these things. Some of them are really basic, and you're kind of like, people fall for that? And some of them are really advanced, and you really don't want to fall for those. Also, Joe Biden said a lot of things in the last couple days. But one of the things the White House wants you to know is there are 8 things that you need to do with your computer right now to protect yourself from the onslaught of Russian hacking that they expect to be unleashed upon the West soon. So there are 8 things they want you to do with your personal computer. We're going to tell you what they are. You guys, I'm not making fun. Some of these things are on the level. We tell you some of these same things. Some of them are kind of wackadoo. But some of them are really on the level. We're going to tell you all 8 of them so that you can decide which ones you want to implement, if not all of them, on your personal computer. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. We're going to take a quick break on the show. When we come back, Chromebooks. What is it about video games on Chromebooks? Do you have to worry about the school kids playing games now? Or maybe you have a Chromebook and you're wondering, can I play video games on my Chromebook now? We're going to tell you all about it coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases even your identity. Today's cybercriminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. Want to say hi to all of our friends watching at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Good morning, Ronald. Marcy, good to have you. Roger's here. Aaron, Nan, and Randy are both here. Let's see. We got Dean, Loanne, Bill, Janet, Kansas, Missouri, Michigan, Iowa, lots of different states represented. So welcome aboard, everybody. We're glad to have you. You can also watch the program live at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations if Facebook is your thing. Number to join the program. We always get a lot of calls right at the end of the show, and we're trying to squeeze them in at the end. We don't get so many early in the show. Don't know why that is. Maybe everyone is still asleep. Maybe they're working up their courage. Like I said, it's not a big deal. Every question's a good question. 888-250-2091. That's 888-250-2091. All right. So you know what a Chromebook is, right? So when you go out to buy laptops and you go to the website or whatever if you're going to buy them and you sort from low price to high price, but you don't check the operating system box, all the low price laptops are all Chromebooks. And when people bring Chromebooks into the service center because they have a cracked screen or a broken hinge or something like that, and they find out that the cost of the screen replacement is going to be more than what it cost them to buy the Chromebook, they logically just buy a new Chromebook. Because the repair cost on the $150 for the screen, an hour of labor at $125. Even if you have the new customer coupon, which all new customers get their first hour of labor for free. So even with the free hour of labor, it's still $150 for the screen. And you're like, I only spent like $189 on this thing. I don't know if I want to put $150 into it. I just go buy a new one, right? Well, one of the things you may not know is that Chromebooks come in all kinds of different capabilities. And you'd be excused in not knowing this because what's the point? Like, if you're using a Chromebook for Google Docs and email and web surfing, why on earth do you need an i7 processor? Why on earth do you need more than 4 gigs of RAM? Why do you need a big high-resolution screen for that? I mean, maybe you're chilling and watching your Netflix on your laptop, but I mean, most people have TVs for that now. So you could sit in your uncomfortable office chair and watch your laptop, I guess. Or you could watch it on the big TV and sit on your couch. So what's the point of having a high-powered Chromebook? The answer now is Steam. Steam is being released for Chromebooks, but the trick is you can't get it on every Chromebook. Google is restricting it so that you have to get a certain level of Chromebook. In fact, there's only 6 Chromebooks right now that are available that will support Steam because you have to have that high of a spec. You've got to have an 11th generation. So that means brand spanking new, not 1 year old, not 6 months old, not you got it on clearance at Walmart. An 11th generation Core i5 or Core i7 processor and 8 gigs of memory. And the computer has to have Intel Xe graphics capability. Why on earth, if you're buying a Chromebook, do you know what happens to the price of a Chromebook when you put those specs in? Go do it. Pop on Amazon, put those specs in. You may as well buy a regular PC at that point. You're buying all the same hardware. The only thing you're not buying is Windows. And if you buy Windows, then you can play any game you want. And it's upgradable. And it's compatible with every piece of software on the market. Do you want to do your taxes on it? Can't do that on a Chromebook. Sorry. Now, maybe you can go on the website and use their web portal and do all that, but you can't run TurboTax on a Chromebook. You can't run QuickBooks on a Chromebook. You can run QuickBooks Web on a Chromebook. Anything web you can do on a Chromebook, but you can't run regular software. That's why no one's been gaming on them up to this point. But that's what Steam is going to change. This is according to ZDNet, these rather lofty for a Chromebook, even they say for a Chromebook, it's like this really pretty for that lady, these required stats put the vast majority of Chromebook models ever released out of the running for games. So the answer for parents, do you have to worry about your kiddos playing video games on their school Chromebook? The answer is no. The schools are not ponying up money for 11th generation Core i7 Chromebooks with 8 gigs of RAM. Now, if your student comes to you and says, I want to get a Chromebook because it's just for school, mommy or daddy, and these are the specs I want. When you look at that Chromebook, if it's more than like $300 or $350, you're going to have to ask yourself, what's going on here? And there's one of 5 models it could be to run video games on there as well. Now, don't get me wrong, you're not gonna dominate Call of Duty on a Chromebook or anything, but you would at least be able to play some games on it rather than just doing boring schoolwork all the time on it. But is it worth it at those prices? You'd probably just end up buying a regular laptop anyway. In fact, one of the ones, let me see, there's an Asus Chromebook Flip CX5, and right now that's retailing on Amazon for $700. So you can have, this is according to ZDNet. They said this is compatible, but it's not because it's only a Core i3. Oh, no. And it's $700. For this price, guys, you could get an Intrepid at Schrock and have high-end memory, high-end solid-state hard drives. This is only a 14-inch screen. You get a 15-inch screen, and you can play all the games you want on it. I'm just saying. All right, so there you go, guys. Parents, you don't have to worry terribly much about it. Number to join us on the program today, 888-250-2091. 888-250-2091. All right, so I mentioned after we're done with this show, we do a little show afterward called the After Schrock. So on the After Schrock, we talk about things that don't necessarily fit into the regular, ebb and flow of the radio show. So, for example, we have a lot of people who listen to the After Schrock who do crypto stuff. And at one point, we recommended a certain crypto exchange. Well, that exchange is now closing its doors to all North American customers. So we want to make sure we tell people about that so they can get their money out before their money gets locked in. Number two, what is this? All this talk, have you heard these talk about digital dollars, about the CBDCs or central bank digital currencies? What the heck is that? Is that Bitcoin? Is that something like Bitcoin? Is it something completely different than Bitcoin? What's the point? Why is it important? We're going to tell you all about what you need to know about that, not all the techie stuff, but what you need to know about the high-level concepts there. Also, as I mentioned earlier on the show, there's been an Easter egg on the Schrock website on two different places for the last week that if you were, I don't know why you would just be randomly browsing through the menus of the Schrock website. I mean, our competitors do it sometimes, but we see them doing it. But if you were just browsing through the menus, you might find it. But we're going to tell you what that is, what the Easter egg surprise is during the After Schrock. So you want to stay tuned for that one as well. 888-250-2091. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break, guys. But when we come back, it's refund season. And the IRS is going to be collecting lots of personal information and tax returns and everything else. I want to make sure that you don't fall for any of the scams that might be hitting your inbox. We're going to tell you what to look out for coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed Symantec endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the specials section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. And now Compute This Pro tip number 373. Everyone knows we're supposed to back up our computers and then check those backups periodically to make sure they're working. So why don't most people do it? Lots of people have different ideas about what backing up means. Is it copying files to a flash drive? Is it using a fancy backup program? And how do you know it's working anyway? Windows makes backups easy through free software that's already on your computer. Open your control panels and click Update and Security. Select Backup and choose from all of the available options to get a regular, reliable checkup. You'll need something to back up to, like a Schrock modular storage device or some other backup hard drive. Backups usually run once a week, but you can always change the frequency. The best part is that if your backup ever fails, you'll see a notification in the lower right corner by your clock telling you something's up. Backing up your important data has never been easier. So take a moment to back up your computer today. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
I'm Sheridan McHugh. Further details on Saturday's Russian airstrike on the western Ukraine city of Lviv.
An airstrike struck the west of Ukraine, once again within the city limits of Lviv, just 40 miles from NATO's eastern flank and a little more than 200 miles from President Biden's location at the time in Poland. The first airstrike hit a fuel storage facility, resulting in a tremendous ball of flames and a plume of smoke that could be seen for miles. That fire is now out. The second round of airstrikes hitting an industrial section of town.
Fox's Mike Tobin. President Zelensky continues to plead for fighter jets and tanks from the west to counter the Russian invasion. In Boulder County, Colorado, nearly 20,000 people were evacuated Saturday due to a fast-moving wildfire.
Despite the wind dying down, the smell of smoke has definitely gotten thicker.
Carly Moore of Fox affiliate KDVR Denver. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Partly to mostly cloudy and chilly this morning with temperatures in the upper 20s. The clouds stick around for most of your Sunday, keeping temperatures on the cool side. Highs only around 42. Partly cloudy overnight with a low of 27. Breezy on Monday, a bit warmer with a high around 57. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist David Keller.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. Hope everybody got their potty breaks in, got their coffee refilled, listened to those important announcements from our supporters and advertisers, and has successfully returned for another half of Compute This. Welcome back in, guys. 888-250-2091. 888-250-2091. That's the number to call us to be a part of the program, and as we do every week, we'll give away a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate to one lucky caller. That's what Jack has done. Jack, welcome to the program. How can I help you on this today?
Good morning. When I turn my computer on, it's got a blue tint to it. Do you know, does that mean something's going out or?
Well, it can mean a few things. I've seen this happen, blue tint or pink tint, when your cable is loose in the back of the computer for the monitor. If a couple of those pins get sloppy, you can lose a couple colors, and that can lead to a blue or a pink tint. So double check, good rule of thumb, before we go replacing expensive components, let's just double check that everything's plugged in nice and solid. So check that first. Okay. The second thing is, depending on your monitor and the technology it uses, it's possible that you could get a tint or some kind of uneven wear in the color palette on a monitor as it's going bad. Monitors last they last a long time, but they don't last forever. And so they're electronic components like any other. 5 years on a monitor, 7 years on a monitor, and you're kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. The good news here, though, is the newer monitors are much higher resolution. They have much better refresh rates, which is what nobody ever looks at. You go to the store to buy monitors. People ask, well, what monitors do you put in the store at Schrock? And I'm like, well, all of our monitors are 75 hertz. And they're like, does it hurt? I'm like, yes. No, because most monitors are 60 hertz. And the difference between 60 and 75 is the eye strain. The picture refreshes faster. So there's not and it's not a delay that you're going to see, but accumulated over an afternoon working in front of the computer or playing a video game in front of it or doing anything that requires you staring at the screen, it makes your eyes less tired. Also, all of our monitors have built-in blue light filtering, which is something that 7 years ago people didn't really know you needed, but it helps keep your eyes healthy. And so there's a lot of things in the modern monitors that really make it advantageous to move up. Now, the challenge that we have over at Schrock is keeping monitors in stock. I've mentioned this before a few times, but as everybody knows, and Ron just posted on Facebook, I'm going to share Ron's warning with you here. Ron says, my neighbor is in management at a large chemical company. He highly suggests you buy anything you can and store it for the next year. Things like shampoo, conditioner, shaving cream, soap, etc. He said there will be massive shortages in the near, all caps, future. Well, we're already seeing it in monitors. The price of monitors is going parabolic. Literally, I don't understand. Like, I can go to Walmart and I can buy a 55-inch television for the same price a 27-inch computer monitor costs. Same tech, literally the same tech, just different hookups. And it blows my mind. but it's just because people need monitors for their computers and they don't want to have 55-inch televisions for monitors. So it's a separate thing. But at Schrock, we haven't raised the prices. And so people go over to the big box store and they look at the price, and they come over to Schrock and they look at the price and they buy our monitor. And we can do this for a little while because we're getting customers out of the deal. People who normally wouldn't walk in the door right away. Maybe they don't listen to the radio show. Maybe they don't listen to AM radio. There are,
right.
There are not many, but there are some FM people still out there.
So can I come over to the Papillion store and get a computer today?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have computers and monitors in stock in the store.
Okay, then also, can you transfer all my bookmarks on my old computer to the new computer?
Yeah, absolutely. We call it a data transfer, and it's not just bookmarks, but we're going to transfer your settings, your wallpapers, your bookmarks, all of your icons. Literally, if there are programs that we need to have reinstalled, we will help you reinstall those programs. Like if you have Office, for example, Microsoft Office, if it's a current version that can be reinstalled, we'll help you reinstall it. And that's all one flat rate under a data transfer.
Okay. Now, you're open what time today?
Today, on Sunday, the Omaha, Papillion, and Lincoln service centers are open from noon to 5. Des Moines is closed on Sunday, just like Chick-fil-A. The rest of the days,
I'd be going to the Papillion office.
Gotcha. And if you can't make it out today, Papillion is open every other day of the week from 10 in the morning until 8 in the evening.
Okay, I'll probably come over there today. You're open at noon, so that would work out great for me. Now, do I need to bring in my old computer?
If you want us to do the data transfer, at some point we'll need to have the old computer so we can transfer the information off of it. If you're planning on buying,
is that all you need then?
Yeah.
Is that all you need?
Yeah, we don't need your monitor. We don't need any cords or anything like that. The only thing that if you might consider adding a monitor to the computer sale if your monitor is having problems, or if you want to bring your monitor in so we can check it, we're happy to test it for you at no cost.
Okay, so when I buy a computer, I get the hard drive, and I have to pay extra for the monitor?
That's right, yeah. The computer, if you buy a desktop, you're buying the computer tower, and the monitor is considered an accessory, just like the keyboard and mouse is an accessory. So you buy each piece that you need, and there's no need to buy pieces you don't need. Okay, so what would the total cost be for me on that? Well, it depends which model you choose. Computers start at $600 and they go up to $1,200. And there's 3 models, so there's 3 steps along the way. The good news is that everything is modular, so that one computer can easily be changed into any of the other computers over time. So you don't have to necessarily buy the race car today if you don't want the race car today. Or you can buy the race car today and then not have to buy a new computer for years because you've got one that's, a lot of people when they buy computers, and we've talked about this on previous shows, they buy a computer based on what they need today, with the assumption, the logical assumption being, if I buy more than I need today, I will pay more for it, and it will be wasted money. So why would you waste money buying more than you need for a computer? Well, the answer is if you buy a computer that's more powerful than what you need today, tomorrow's needs are going to be greater than today's needs. We know this just like we know inflation's going up. Your computer is going to be asked to do more things tomorrow than it's doing today, and more things the day after that. If you buy a computer that exactly works for what you need today, it'll work great for the first year and a half. And then you get to be one of these people that says, my computer used to be so fast, but now it's running so slow. What? Maybe I need to clean it or something. No, it's because the load on the computer has increased, but the resources haven't increased. And you had no spare resources to begin with.
So all I need would be the basic computer.
Yeah. So at that point, that would be our Boundless desktop. It's a great computer. You'd enjoy it. Okay, and then I have to buy a monitor for that too also, right? Yep, you would need a monitor. Like I said, if you want us to, just bring your monitor in with its cords and we'll test it for you to see if it's the monitor that's going off, giving off the blue hue, or if maybe there's a cord that's bad or something like that. We can check that for you. Okay.
I'll do that. Thank you very much.
All right, sounds like a plan. We'll look forward to seeing you right at noon when we open. Just a heads up on this one, Jack. Things get a little hairy there for about the first half hour that we're open because everybody's calling and everything else. So 12:30 would probably be the sweet spot if you want to come in, give you plenty of time to look at the computer and get all the attention you need from the staff.
Okay, thank you.
All right, have a great afternoon, and thanks for the call, Jack. I appreciate it. Jack's in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate, which it sounds like might come in really handy if you were to win. Now, do you want to take that away from Jack? That's up to you. I'm not mean like that, but if you were trying to take it from Jack, the number to do that is 888-250-2091. All right, so it's refund season, guys. Beware. There's a big scam going around that they're already warning about. If you get an email that says it's from the IRS online with a subject line of incorrect form selection, it asks victims to open an attachment called the W9form.zip, also providing the target with a plain text password needed to open the file so it looks super secure, right? It came with a password. It's got to be legit. The lure is designed to look like a Form W-9, which is a request for taxpayer identification number and certification from the IRS. But when the user opens that file, they're asked if they can enable macros, which it's a yes or no question. So by definition, 50% of you will click yes and 50% will click no. If you click yes, here's what lies behind door number 1. After macros are enabled, the malicious document retrieves and downloads the Emotet malware, which allows the attackers to steal usernames and passwords on the compromised Windows machine. Behind door number 2, you clicked no, and the document didn't open, and you're left wondering, do I really need to have that W-9 document? Maybe I should have clicked yes. And then you can go back for another try at the doors if you like. Literally, guys, the IRS does not send you email with forms attached. The IRS, if they do communicate with you via email for some reason, normally I would say they never do, but with all the COVID stuff that happened over the last few years, the IRS has communicated about business loans and things like that, COVID relief loans and grants and things through email. But it's always an email that says go to the portal and log in. So one thing I want to tell you, when you get an email that says it's from any official organization, IRS, the FBI, any organization like that, you should be able to go to their website yourself and log in without clicking any links in the email. So if the IRS does send you an email about your loan with the government or whatever for your business, or they do send you a form, something saying they need a form W-9 filled out, you should be able to go to irs.gov, type it in with your fingertips, irs.gov, enter, and then log into your account yourself. And whatever thing they sent you will be sitting there as a message in your account. If there's no message in your account, then you know the email you received is a scam. So this is called phishing. Phishing with a PH, because that's cooler. When you become a victim of phishing, it lures you to take an action on your computer that results in you infecting yourself. Now, let's say that you got this same email, but you were running Sophos antivirus backed by Schrock Innovations. What happens? You're still going to get the email. It's still going to ask you to open up the email. It's still going to ask you to enable macros because all those are legitimate actions. None of those things inherently are bad. But the moment you click yes and it tries to stick that Emotet malware on your computer, Sophos is going to go off like a Christmas tree. Behind the scenes, it's going to lock down that document. It's going to block the Emotet malware. It's going to add a notification to the event log that you were attacked. It's going to let us know that you were attacked and successfully defended. Except no one's going to ever notice any of that because it doesn't pop up in your face and there's no lights and sirens and everything. You're just going to be like, that thing won't open. You might even call the Schrock desk and say, I'm trying to download this W-9 thing from the IRS, and every time I click yes, it like closes. I don't understand what's going on. Can you help me? Well, yeah, don't open that thing. If it hurts when you do that, don't do that. So Sophos would protect you from this attack as well as many other attacks. This is just one example, though, of basic email hygiene, the things that you should be aware of when you're dealing with an email. Whenever you receive an email from an online store, from Schrock Innovations, saying, click here to take advantage of this great new special offer or deal. you can go to our website at SchrockInnovations.com and you can find the same thing on the web. So for those of you who have not purchased maintenance certificates by Monday morning, I'm going to send you an email reminding you, hey, if you're going to do it, you should do it now. You can go to SchrockInnovations.com and go to Shop and Specials and buy a maintenance certificate. You don't have to click on the link in my email to get the special deal. You can go do it yourself. That's the safe way to do it. Now, we know how many people click the links into my email, so I know most of you click the links in the email. That's why you need Sophos, because that way you can click the links in the email and still be protected. 888-250-2091. I'm going to take a break here real quick, guys. When we come back, the White House has 8 recommendations they want you to do with your personal computer right now to protect yourself from the expected onslaught of Russian cyber intrusions that are expected to pound us at any moment. You think, why haven't they done it yet? Are they going to, is this really, can they do it? I don't know. We thought they could invade the Ukraine too. Anyway, the White House has 8 recommendations, and we're going to bring them to you directly coming up next on Compute This.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute This Pro Tip 299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Schrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Schrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, final segment of the program. But the fun doesn't have to end, as I mentioned, after the show is concluded. We will be live on Facebook at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations for the After Schrock. We have an interesting show planned with some special surprises for you today. All right, so the White House is warning, do these 8 things now to boost your security ahead of potential Russian cyber attacks. But when they say now, they don't mean right now, because right now, we should jump into the phones and take a call first, right? So let's go into the phones real quick. Jason, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
Hello. Just curious about the Sophos software.
Yeah.
If you have multiple devices, do you buy multiple subscriptions, or does it come with more than one license?
You do buy multiple subscriptions. So one of the increasing tactics used by other antivirus companies to maintain subscriber status is, we protect, some of them protect up to 3 devices, and then some of them protect up to 5, and some up to unlimited devices. Unfortunately, with Sophos, it's a managed solution, which means for every device that's installed, it requires us to manage it, to look in on it, to keep it working properly. And so as a result, there's a direct cost to Schrock for every device we install. So it's a one device license. The good news is we do offer reduced cost subscriptions for phones and tablets, which definitely need antivirus protection. There is absolutely zero doubt about that now. There are threats out there for these devices directly. In fact, my Samsung Galaxy phone got 2 software updates to the Google operating system in the last month due to security vulnerabilities. So there are definitely security vulnerabilities. Apple actually got 1 at least, maybe 2 in the last month as well. Same thing. Yep. So it's definitely, unfortunately, something that's the reality of the modern world. You got to have security on pretty much every device.
Right. I was just curious.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Thanks, Thor.
No sweat. Thank you, Jason. Sandy, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
I've been having a problem for a couple of weeks, and I think it's with my internet provider, but I don't know what to do. There are certain people that when I email them, it bounces right back. It says, undelivered mail, return to sender.
Gotcha.
I've called my internet provider, and I just get a recording say they're working on an email outage, and I've gotten no help.
Who's your email provider?
Internet Nebraska.
Gotcha. I'm not going to pass gossip along about other local companies, but we have had issues with other customers that have been having issues with Internet Nebraska email outages in the Lincoln area, especially. If I'm just going to, out of curiosity, do you have a secondary email account, something like a Google or a Yahoo or like a freebie account somewhere?
I do on my phone, but I haven't used it.
So, quick, out of curiosity, just to troubleshoot the problem. From that other email account, if you email that same email address, like a test message, like, hi, this is just a test, does it go through okay? Because there's 2 reasons you could get that bounce. One of them is you're misspelling the email address. But if you're misspelling the email address, it'll bounce no matter what program or internet connection or internet provider you use to send it. If it goes through on the phone but not the computer, then we can be pretty confident it's an Internet Nebraska problem. And unfortunately, if there's an email outage, there's not really anything you can do about it. And if they're not addressing it, then it might be time to look at a new internet provider, unfortunately.
So if there's an email outage, this is what would happen. It would bounce back. I mean, I know I have the right address because I try to reply to an email that I got from them, and this is what happens.
Gotcha. So double check the address, even though it's a reply, double check the address anyway, because in many email programs, like in Outlook, for example, I can send you an email and I can set my reply address to be anything I want it to be. And so
these are people I email all the time.
Okay. So if it's someone you've emailed in the past and you know the email address is accurate, then it's probably it probably is an email outage problem. If that's the case, if there's no do they have any indication of when the outage might be resolved? Do they have any ETA on that?
No, it's just a recording that says if you're calling about an email outage, we're working on it.
How long has that been going on?
Oh, at least a week and a half.
Yeah. I think you know what I'm going to say.
Find a different internet provider.
I didn't say that, but that sounds like an outstanding idea. No, no.
That sounds like a complicated thing to do.
Well, Internet Nebraska is a local company in Lincoln, and I don't like small companies have unique challenges. And it sounds like they've lost a server or they had an ownership change or something happened that, and they've been around for so long. So it sounds like there's something going on there. And like I said, you're not the first person to call us with an issue with Internet Nebraska email. With that said, I don't want to roast a local company. You know what I mean? But if you can't get the service that you need to get, maybe it's time to look at Future Technologies, futuretk.com. Or maybe it's time to look at, one of the biggies in Lincoln, like your ADSL or your cable. Maybe it's time to look at Comcast. Maybe it's time to look at a different provider to get that internet access. Yeah, you have DSL access through Internet Nebraska. So there are tons of providers that do that work there in Lincoln. And
Okay.
you might just, it's not as hard as you might think. The hardest part about it is you have to get a new email address. So
And notify everybody
yes,
that I have a new email address.
yes, that's the hardest part of everything.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it sounds like right now you can't really use your email anyway.
Well, I can get through to some people, but not to others.
What's the email address you're having trouble? Like, is it at Gmail or at something.com?
Yes, like at hotmail.com is one that I'm looking at right now.
Okay. So if I had to venture a guess as to what's going on, and this is just a guess with just the information you provided me, somehow their email server got added to a national spam list or an international spam list. And what happens, and that's happened to Schrock before too. When that happens, if a certain number of people respond that email is spam by clicking the report button or doing whatever, it can automatically add your server to a spam list. And when that happens, there is no fast way to get off. You literally submit your removal request. You say, I've complied with everything you've asked me to do. We're not spammers. Can you please remove me? And then they get to you when they get to you, and you have to wait. And it could take a week and a half. So my guess is that's probably what's going on. So there's the outside possibility. It's no fault of their own, which is why I don't like to roast local companies. The second thing here is it could resolve itself in a little bit more time. It's just up to you how patient you want to be and how long you want to wait.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right.
I've been very frustrated and didn't really understand what was going on.
Yeah. It sounds like I would have, if I was going to guess, it's a spam server issue. That'd be my guess, Sandy. Thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it. Number to join us on the program. I'm not even going to give you the number because there's probably not time. All right. So the White House says do these 8 things now to boost your cybersecurity. Well, 9 technically, because the first one they want you to do is enable 2-factor authentication on anything that you can. That's where you have to sign in. You have to get a text message to your phone or something, type in a code, and then you can sign in. Number 2, deploy modern security tools on your computers. That's like Sophos, guys. Number 3, make sure your systems are patched and protected against known vulnerabilities. That's updates. That's Secure Updater, guys. Back up your data to ensure you have offline backups, just in case you get ransomware. We've talked about that. Run exercises and drill your emergency plans, kind of like your fire escape drill. Encrypt your data so it can't be stolen or can't be used if it's stolen. That one, I'm not so sure that's a good idea for consumers with regular data, but we'll get into that later. And finally, educate everyone in your family on common tactics that people will use. Jason, you're the winner. We'll see you soon.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, your home for made in the USA furniture. This is News Radio 1110.